Okay. What up?
What up, y'all?
Happy Sex Talk with Sexual Enigma.
Sex Talk Monday.
Hey, hey, hey.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. So, tonight's topic is sex and drugs.
What you know about that?
Sex and drugs.
What you know about
Mary Jane, I love you just the same. Mary Jane, I love you really, 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 really.
Whatever he says. Whatever he says.
Mary Jane and a little bit of
other stuff.
Yes.
Just saying.
So that's what we're talking about tonight, sex and drugs. And just to give you a heads up who we are.
Who are we?
My name is Robin.
She's
Robin. I am a personal trainer, yoga trapeze instructor, sexual guru, life coach, all of the things. And half of Sexual Enigma.
Yes. And I am Tamara, yoga instructor, Pilates instructor, as well as group instructor, and as well as a sexual guru. I'm just saying. And the other half of Sexual Enigma.
Yes. And of course, you know, we have to have our kombucha wars. So
tonight, we
are drinking it from this big ass bottle. Of Health Aid kombucha. Bruh, it's bigger than my face.
It is.
And my head is not small.
That's because you're tall.
Oh, that's nice. She's so sweet. So it's ginger lemon. There we go. Ginger lemon. That's what we sipping on today.
I love ginger.
We're gonna see how it tastes. I don't think I've had this one yet.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, cheers. Kombucha wars.
Oh, maybe I have had it. It tastes familiar.
It tastes like the cayenne.
A little bit. The cayenne.
Without
cleanse.
the cayenne.
Without the cayenne. I definitely taste the ginger and lemon. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into it. We have a guest tonight who, if you have been rocking with us for the past 40 whatever episodes.
Yes, this is 47.
No, this is 48. Yeah, this is 48.
48, y'all. Yeah. Oh my God, 2 more 50.
Right? Hey. Anyways, if you've been rocking with us since 50 episodes ago, you would be familiar with one of our favorite peeps, writer. He's everything. His name is Shakir. And he is going to be with us today as we delve into the topic, which is sex and drugs.
Who better than Shakir?
I know.
I'm just saying.
Why not? Come on in. Welcome.
What's good, girls? How are you?
Good. We good. We happy. We here.
Right. Tell people all about you.
Yes. Tell us more about who you are and why we love you so much.
I mean, okay, so here's the deal. We'll do the formal and then we'll go from there. How about that?
Okay, do the formal.
So, the formal. Let's just do this formal. Okay, so get that out the way.
Okay.
My name is Shakir Rashaan. I corrupt minds one book at a time. Ooh. I'm that song you skipped and found out later that it was fire. My books have been known to educate or titillate, depending on your point of view. I've been creating lavish worlds and introducing readers to topics both taboo and otherworldly for about 10 plus years now, give or take. When I'm not conspiring with my characters, both new and old, inside of my Naboo universe, you can find me binge watching various series on Netflix and Hulu and God knows where else at this point. You can catch me at home at shakirashancom. The majority of my readers that have been introduced to me, I'll put it that way, all come from my my Nubian Underworld series. That's where I first got started. I got picked up by Zane about 10 years ago, almost, give or take. I think it's 2022 coming up. Yeah. So 10 years ago, as far as being with her and being a part of one of her anthologies. It was the Chocolate Flavor series that I was a part of at one point before she picked me up as an individual artist. So it's been a wild ride. I ain't gonna lie. There are things that I've done and continue to do that I'll write about and all that other good stuff. But we'll get into that.
Tell us about that.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get into all that.
That was, first of all, that like poetic vibe that you just gave to introduce yourself. Listen, snaps.
I do my best.
I'm here for it. Also, well, thank you for that introduction. I think that was better than we could have ever done.
Ever.
My pleasure,
My
ladies.
last one. That was better.
Yeah, we gotta send you off in style, woman.
Well, all right. So let's pose the question:
Absolutely.
Is sex better with drugs?
I want to say yes with a caveat.
Okay.
Put it that way. It depends on which one you decide you want to run with. Now, I know you've done your research. I kind of ran through my circle and did a couple of researches, pieces, and all that other good stuff as well.
Ooh.
And both, always amongst the bros. I mean, I can ask the ladies all they want because the physiology is different. So, it just depends on how everything rolls as far as that is. What my boys and I have discovered, understood, has been that it really depends on the drug of choice. Whether it's Molly, whether it's MJ, whether it's whether you want to go into the harder stuff, so to speak, because some do in moderation, but they still do some of the harder stuff. But what we've learned is for us, it's basically been marijuana and Molly mostly that affects us in a positive sense.
Yeah.
Everything else has been like, we're gonna need a little pill or something like that to kind of make sure we ain't got screwed up. And
Yeah,
all that.
Listen.
Seriously, I mean,
what is it? As we were doing our research, as you mentioned, because we were trying to make sure we ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were reading more so about like ice or meth, and the effects that can have. Yeah. Especially like prolonged usage of it or like high dosage of it, how that can affect. It may increase the libido, but you might have a little lip dick, and so that's not gonna be helpful. You ready? Yeah. You all charged up, libido high, but then limp.
Yeah, the body has decided. The body took off somewhere else as far as
that
that was really what that was. I had one of my ivory skin contingents that basically told me that he had to take that he and his girl actually did like a line or two of cocaine, but before they did that, he actually had to take a Viagra pill.
That makes
and did it like he took like the Viagra. He took the Viagra like an hour or two before they started the other recreational, and it was funny to me because he was like, I thought I was gonna get lip dick, and then I turned around and was like, oh. And next thing I know, I'm looking at his wife, and she's literally got this shit-eating grin on her face because she actually had a whole flashback to that particular time. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to be a chemist or nothing like that, but that's a whole mix that I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, but that's if you know the effects of what meth is gonna do. Then it's like, well, let me counteract it so I still have the like feel good high libido, but I'm not gonna have limp dick. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so what kind of effect did it have?
He was literally speaking, the way he explained it to me, he said it came close to an out of body for him. Whoa. Because he was already gone from the cocaine, but then it was like his body was reacting like the cocaine wasn't even in his system. So mentally he was out there, but his body was just in, I won't say jackhammer mode, but fuck it. You might as well call it what it is.
Ready. That's interesting. I feel like
you have to know that about yourself, though. You have to know.
Yeah, but that was the thing. It was almost like trial and error for him because he said the first time that they did it without him doing that, because they're in their late 40s. as far as that is. So that does take into account. And really, honestly, regardless of age, cocaine can still screw you over in that particular regard. So, they were in their late 40s, so they're used to having a robust life in that regard without it. But, they felt like they would go ahead and, act a fool at one of the clubs or whatever. And it was a trip. So it's like, as soon as they got home, it was like he couldn't perform, and it, like, they had a whole conversation after. So,
I'm sure.
He was like, he was not to the point where he was embarrassed that he had to take it. It was just a simple fact of, if I'm going to go and do this, I know what's about to happen. So I need to see what I can do to count. Yeah. So the timing, the timing was trial and error. Sometimes he got it right, sometimes he didn't. But he told me about the one time where he literally got the mixture right and got the timing right, and say goodnight.
Now, just as a disclaimer, y'all, we are not saying go mix drugs, do drugs, blah, blah, blah. No. We are just overall discussing what can and cannot happen if, these drugs have been taken and its connection to sex.
Yeah. And drugs and sex have been going on since, a millennia. So,
absolutely.
Ancient Egyptians used to extract from the blue lotus flower to increase sexual desire. So, like, this has been going on for a millennia.
Yeah, this is a thing. It's a thing.
This is nothing.
It's a thing.
Yeah, and we've made it taboo. Society, not we, but society has made it a taboo thing, with sex, drugs, and just people creating mayhem and all that other stuff.
Exactly.
And it's interesting that we've made it such a taboo thing for, like, Mary Jane or whatever harder drugs, but alcohol is widely accepted, and that definitely enhances or changes your inhibitions towards having sex with someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like, you go ahead and get drunk.
Yeah, have a few shots.
And get you a little something that night. But no.
Well, I think part of the taboo is simple. It's a matter of what can be regulated. That's really what it is at the end of the day. Anything that can be government regulated eventually becomes normalized in society, as far as that was. I mean, think about it. 100 years ago, alcohol was prohibited. You literally had speakeasies that came to power because of the prohibition, as far as that was. Once they found a way to tax that stuff, it was a wrap.
Yeah, it was.
Now you can buy it in Virginia. You can buy it in the grocery store.
Right. I mean, you can buy it here. You can buy it here in grocery stores, except for Sundays after 12. But I mean,
remember those days? Here in the DMV, you can buy it anytime. But
no. We're still firmly entrenched in the Bible Belt down here. It took 30 years just to get us to get a Sunday.
Oh, really? Because I remember when you couldn't, they were shut down, and then I remember it was 12 o'clock.
Dry counties were a thing down here. There's just no. As soon as it was almost like you were bootlegging your damn self, because you were trying to get to the store before midnight on Saturday, because 12:01, done.
Yeah. And now they have shows, like reality shows, of people, in the backwoods making.
Exactly.
I'm like, that's illegal, right?
But that's really what it is at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah, that's really what it is at the end of the day. It's just a simple fact of, as it was government regulated, it became a normalized thing as far as that. I mean, shit, we've had people drinking and smoking for at least the first 50 years of film. So, there's no problems on that particular front. We've seen, we've seen different movies where people have enhanced in some form or fashion, even when it comes to sex scenes and that type of thing. So it's just a matter of eventually it'll full circle itself. Yeah. But it's always rooted in government regulations more so than anything else. It's the reason why weed has gotten to the point to where not everybody's really killing themselves over whether or not you can be hired or not, or anything along those lines. Because as it gets regulated, as it gets taxed, it becomes a normal thing at that point.
Yeah. Funny you say that, because in 31 states, including the District of Columbia, have legalized marijuana. But, it's still not federally legalized, but, people can.
And more people are, enjoying the Mary Jane.
Yes, indeed.
In multiple ways, whether it's edible, smoked, whether they're having sex or not.
Look, different infusions. I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen it ingested in some very interesting places.
Don't just say what.
Very interesting places.
Let's just let your mind wander.
Yeah, I mean, I could spell it out for you, but I don't know if you want me to spell it out for you.
Let's just let the mind wander. Very interesting places.
Like I said, it is what it is. But no, I mean, it's just a matter of, I guess, like I said, at the end of the day, I think it's just a matter of eventually, we get to another 10 years down the line. It very well may be something that we're not really having a fit about. But that's really what it is more at the end of the day. For me personally, I mean, I can take it or leave it. It doesn't really bother me in that regard. I can find other ways. But I don't frown upon anybody else that decides they need to enhance. If anything, I'll just watch because I want to see so I can tell you, and you can sit there and say you can believe it or not. But yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, you can watch and you be like, I'm putting that in my book.
In my book, or I'm letting you know. I don't know if you knew that this happened while you were on this substance.
Right.
Pretty much.
But this is what happened.
This is what really happened.
Happened. Your mind was somewhere else.
But this is what
really happened.
Been there.
Right.
Well, before you say whatever you're gonna say.
Okay.
During our research, on the female side of stuff, a lot of women felt that like having sex on marijuana was engaging, but it felt like it took them longer to get wet. And they also felt that they didn't have the stamina that they wanted. Because, MJ, depending on what strain you get, can be real just like relaxing and chill.
Right.
And, if you trying to ride and you tired, like, it's not,
that's not happening.
No.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that because no, we don't want them problems.
You're like, dang, I wants to be on the same level, same plane. Well, I mean, people use it for different things too. They use it for emotional connection while they're having sex and just a deeper feel, right? So I don't know.
It's interesting though, because in your example with your friend, he said like his mind was somewhere else, but his body, because of the Viagra, was like there and ready. And to me, it's like, okay, if we're using these to help develop a stronger emotional connection, but my mind is gone off somewhere, then is that creating a stronger emotional connection? Yeah,
and I think that's the other thing that has to be considered. It's like, where are you really? I mean, the whole point of the sexual experience is to be in that present moment with whomever it is that you're with. And if you're literally mentally somewhere else because the enhancement is pretty much taking you there, by the time you come back to yourself, it's almost like you're in shock. Yeah, so
I did something. Well, maybe, and does that have to do with the drug of choice?
And that's the other thing. We're not really sure because the ones that rock off Molly, it was like, oh no, they couldn't remember the last time they were closer.
Okay. Yeah.
So there is that to consider.
Yeah, Molly from the research, Molly definitely. I mean, it's just full stimulation. Like your body is like, oh my gosh, like touch me more.
Right, exactly. Like you're literally everything is on edge from what was told to us, and I'm just like, I get it, but I don't know. That's a little weird because I mean, you get to a point, especially if you're with someone that you're not necessarily on that same wavelength with. Say, for instance, you decide you're having casual sex with somebody and you both on Molly, and all of a sudden, everything that you tried to keep on the brain mouth filter thing, that's not good because the wrong thing will come out. The wrong thing will come out because the mind saying one thing and the mouth saying, you know what? On second thought, let's try this shit out anyway. And next thing you know, you come down from the high and you're like, what did I say? You sure? I don't know about that.
I don't remember that. I wasn't there.
That part.
Reported. Then it wasn't me.
So speaking of Molly, I don't know if you watched Insecure.
Yes.
Bruh.
Okay.
Yes.
So hopefully you've seen this episode. It was in season 3, episode 5, I believe, where they were at Coachella, living their best life, having a bomb. And Issa, my girl, was high off some Molly. I think weed too. They was taking off.
I remember well.
Yes, and they had she and Nathan, who Kendrick Sampson.
Yes.
Just as a reminder, Kendrick, if you ever
hold on, first Michael B. and now this. Don't come. Hold on. Did I miss something?
You shoot your shot, okay?
I mean, look, I get it. Multiple shots, I get it. I got no issue. Do what you do.
I was like, oh, what's going there? I was like, she got his name.
Listen, Mr. Sampson.
She got his name.
You just, Robin. That's my name, Robin Joseph. You let me know when you ready. So anyways, they got it in the Ferris wheel. And I just remember watching that scene and be like, oh, snap. Like, this is happening. I feel like this is kind of dangerous. Where y'all at? Like, what if the rocking does a little too much and then it dropped? But hey, they were so
inhibitions were gone. They were like
inhibitions were gone. They had already had feelings for one another.
Right.
They were high as shit. And it was just like, yo, let's do this without thinking through what could be the repercussions or, whatever. I mean, they had a good time.
Oh, of course. Absolutely so.
Yeah. I was thinking like when she first took it and they were at the pool and then he was just like touching her skin and she was like, what is that? I was like, what is it? My goodness.
Yeah, the sensitivity factors are built at that point.
Oh gosh. That's serious. So she's like, it is.
Yeah. I mean, if y'all haven't seen that episode, please go and watch it.
Yeah, definitely. It's worth the watch. That's for sure.
It is.
Yeah, I've seen that by faith 4 times. I'm just saying.
Definitely.
I love me some Insecure.
Yes. So have any of your like team or people of what have been their experience on Molly and sex?
Oh yeah.
There's put it this way, it's probably the choice. It's probably the de facto choice at this point, for real, because as was said, it's like everything is literally on tilt. It's the slightest touch. In one particular couple's cases, it's like the slightest touch and she was gone, like instant. At that particular point, regardless of where she was touched, as far as just the different erogenous that she had, she was just that wide open. Like it didn't matter you didn't have to go to the default erogenous zones for her. All you had to do was find a sensitive spot on her body, and she
was ready.
Yeah,
gushing probably.
Yeah, literally speaking. I mean, it was ridiculous to say the least. It was, so the thing that I've learned, and the thing that's been funny is that they'll have what they call, what was the term I heard? Home rolling. Home rolling is where you're literally like, you just kind of sequester yourself for days at a time, and you're just literally on Molly and sex for that 2-3 day period of time. One of my couples literally was like on a 4-day work weekend where they were off for that 4-day weekend. They went out on Thursday, they came back on Monday, and we didn't hear shit the entire weekend from either one of them. By the time they came out, all I remember hearing was bruises and soreness. That's all I remember.
Listen.
And it wasn't a bad thing.
Okay. Good bruises. Good soreness. There is a good soreness. I ain't gonna lie. There's good soreness.
I will agree with that.
Yeah. So that was a new term to me, even though they said that it had been around for a minute. But then again, I don't really partake like that. So it's hard for me to go that point. Yeah. Even with my gay and lesbian couples, they said there was a thing called Chem Sex.
Yes.
It actually was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, you teaching me? Because what the hell?
Yeah, that.
Let's talk about Chem Sex.
let's talk
We got
Yeah,
that. We got
by all
that.
means.
I was telling Robin. So I found two definitions of Chem Sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I found that a particular community was not happy about the heterosexual community using the term
Right.
Chem Sex because they kind of felt like it was like appropriation. So I'm going to read both.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chem Sex refers to using a substance to enhance experiences. P&P, party and play.
Mm-hmm.
Chem sex includes both recreational encounters like sex parties and paid experiences between sex workers and their clients. Now,
Mhm.
that's one. And then I have chem sex is usually refers to men who have sex with other men using drugs, namely meth.
Yeah.
Right.
And femininity.
Right. That part.
You know what I'm saying.
Yes,
I
it
don't know
is.
why- I don't not why I like but so I was also reading that how the gay community or the alphabet community, I'm just trying to be
Mm-hmm. Of course.
we're kind of upset about that the heterosexual community was actually using the term so, I mean, I don't know, this is my opinion. I just thought it was kind of a generic term, but this is the first time I ever heard of the term. So it's new to me. As
it was definitely, it was definitely born of the LGBT community.
Okay.
They kept that under wraps for years.
For
As far as that was, because they felt one, it's always an underground thing sometimes when it comes to it. It's no different than the kink community at one point where we were happy underground, and then certain books pop up, and now all of a sudden we're in the midst of all kind of chaos. So so there's really what it is at the end of the day. It's like sometimes you just want something for you, and it's not necessarily meant for the greater community, so to speak.
Well, I think we understand that as African Americans.
Yes, that part.
I'm just gonna say that. Yes, as African Americans, we kind of understand that.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's really what it was at that point. It's the only reason why I led with gay and lesbian couples, because that's not something that you want to associate. Not necessarily that you don't want to associate. It's just the simple fact of it. It's one of those things where it's like you just want to be as respectful as you can, because you know where it came from and you know where it should stay. And that's really what it is at the end of the day at that point. But some folks don't always think that way. They're like, oh, that's a cool term, let me go and rock it. And that becomes a thing.
It becomes a thing.
Well, thank you for that. I'm totally fine with letting, if it's your word and take it, own it. It's you. That's I could just say sex high. Like it doesn't have
about that. Oh my God.
So there's that. But as we were doing kind of our research, we found that a lot of people, experiment with some sort of drug under the influence. Either it's alcohol and a drug and sex, or it's just a drug and sex, whatever the case is. But majority of people have tried something at least once in their life, and I just say majority, not everyone.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, because there's a study I found where they surveyed 22,000 people across countries, that's the US and UK, and surveyed them and asked them if they did drugs, and they said that they either took drugs before sex or took drugs to enhance the sexual experience. So people are doing it.
Yeah,
but people are using drugs to enhance their sexual experience to get the most out of what
absolutely
the experience is.
So now my question.
Oh shucks,
go ahead.
So
I already know where this is going, but let's go ahead anyway.
We've hit on Molly, we've hit on meth, we've hit on coke, we've hit on Mary Jane. Now let's hit on shrooms. And psychedelics. What is that like? What has anybody tried that, or do we know of people who have tried it?
Not since the 80s.
Really?
I mean, seriously, I'm like, I don't remember the last time I even heard anybody saying they were even trying that nonsense. Really, I mean, really, that would be more, I guess, historical than anything else.
I saw this documentary on Netflix. Netflix has put out a whole bunch of stuff. Y'all need to watch this.
Yeah, Netflix is a trip with it.
It was hallucinogens,
Mhm.
and they had it was celebrities because they had Sting on there, and
like kind of like rock and roll type people.
No, they had a rap on there. I'm trying to think his name.
Nah, psychedelics. Yeah, psychedelics is definitely a musician's thing. That's for sure.
And they had an actor on there. Oh my, is it Tavis? What's the rapper's name? Jeez, don't take my black card from me. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name.
Well, whatever the case is.
But
oh my God.
On there, and it was LSD, it was hallucinogen, and he was like, hell yeah. It was like the bomb. I can't repeat exactly what he said, but he said it was like he was having fellatio done. And he said he just saw butterflies. Butterflies
wouldn't surprise me.
And this was 2020 they were doing this, so it's like, but it also went into how, like, just like in cannabis, they're doing research on how it can benefit others in other ways, not just sexual. We're talking about sex talk, so that's why I'm talking about sex talk, but that through epilepsy and other benefits, stuff like that. But they had stopped it because of the government. So now they're bringing it back. They're starting to do more research on LSD and cannabis and all the other drugs, but they definitely mentioned LSD as an enhancement.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Acid, shrooms. I know that you said that was probably very heavy in like 80s back then. I know a good amount of people now who dabble in these hallucinogens and have sex and say it's just amazing that there's like
I don't put nothing past nobody when it comes to anything along those lines. Things cycle. Let's just keep that real. It's just like big hair in the 80s. Eventually it's made its way back in some form.
It's true. I was trying to zooze up my little life. That big hair.
It just depends. I mean, honestly,
it's camera. We gotta make things bigger than.
For me, I wouldn't personally, but I mean, again, that's because it's just it's really a matter of choice. A matter of, what you decide you want to do at that point, what you can handle, as far as that is. And there's the circles you run in as well. I mean, like I said, a lot of our circles, I think the hardest thing we've dealt with is cane. Other than that, I don't think they've really gone into, those other areas as far as dealing with crystal meth or dealing with LSD or anything like that. I don't think that they've had a chance to really run through that, so to speak.
What
because
about
mushrooms, yeah, to some degree. There's still kind of those remnants as far as that is. Those are the majority of those is really our contingent out west. They're real big on it as far as the left coast is concerned. So that's probably something that has not gone out of style out there. I don't believe.
Yeah, hey, I'm a West Coast Cali girl. So some of the people that I am mentioning that I'm thinking of are
right. Right, exactly.
They out there enjoying their lives like that.
And look, they can do as they do. Shit, I'm not even mad at them, honestly. If I got nothing but beach all the way up and down the coastline, I'd be fucking around with some things too.
You've been getting into some things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, look, you 20 minutes and you at the coast and you on a beach. Come on now. How hard is that to stay away from a beach and you live in Cali? I mean,
yeah, it is. It's nice. One thing I do.
I was in Cali. I lived in Florida. I was in.
No.
I was. Just because.
Okay then.
We had forecasts that were like, "Oh, there's sea lice and sand fleas." I was like, "Yo, have you see?" See, maybe they have that in California. I mean, maybe they have that in Florida and not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, Florida is a whole other
It's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's a whole other mess as far as Florida.
They make you scratch for 45 minutes
Oh,
straight.
no.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, beach is overrated.
Yeah, that's a no. That's a no. The only time that we really even bothered about doing the beach was when we went down to Key West. Other than that,
Wow. No.
Now, if it was like Jamaica, I'd be there every day.
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
that's another thing about Jamaica. Anyways, I'm not gonna go that way because that's a lot of political stuff.
Okay.
We're gonna stay here with the sex and drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more flashbacks. No more flashbacks.
No flashbacks.
One thing about like just kind of if you're going to mix a drug and a sexual act together is preparing for it. And I think like you mentioned how your friend, that the couple kind of prepared for it the best way that they could based upon a previous experience.
Right.
And a big part of preparing for it is discussing with whomever you may have sex with that I'm about to take this drug. I'm probably going to get real horny and want to have sex with you. And are you consenting to that?
Yes.
Like,
Are you consenting
to that?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, are you going to be on this journey with me? Like, are you going to be sober? Are you going to be taking what I'm taking? Like, kind of having those conversations because
definitely.
When you don't, you run into the risk of, someone saying, hey, I was taken advantage of,
right?
Or someone not even remembering what happened. And
that buyer's remorse is not fun.
No. Always be safe. Safe. Have conversations always.
And I mean, if you rolling on something, with a certain group of people, I feel like you should already feel comfortable enough to have those conversations. Like definitely. If you already I'm about to roll on this stuff with you, we should feel comfortable enough to have a conversation of, so I might want to get some from you. You down?
Right. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I mean, that's really what it is at the end of the day. I mean, that you may have one that decide they want to roll on Molly, the other that decides they want to just get drunk. So there's that to consider as far as mixing and matching is concerned. It's not necessarily that they're both partaking in the same thing. Sometimes something works better for one person as opposed to another. This person may get a complete high off of Molly or MJ, and the other one's just cool getting drunk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Enhancement is enhancement.
Enhancement, but that's true. I'm sure it's probably a different high.
Yeah, I mean, everything is a different. And the other part about using drugs in sex is making sure the source is good.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, like you could get a bad batch of something and can't overheating yourself, and you can't come down from a hot flash or whatever it is, and then end up in the hospital. Like, there's a lot of things that you want to kind of be aware of.
Yes.
Yeah,
so that. For the faint of heart, it's really like go into it aware.
Yeah.
I feel
aware and educated and knowledgeable of where you're getting your stuff from, what's in it, your partner. It's not like a fly by night thing.
Yeah.
It's like you said, your friend, I mean, they're in their 40s. We're not saying that in your 40s you do that, but I mean, they're aware of how their body reacts, where they got their stuff from, and obviously it was consensual.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, it goes without saying a lot of the times. I mean, 9 times out of 10, a lot of this is still risky regardless. I mean, even with certain states still declaring illegal and all that other good stuff and whatnot, a lot of people still don't go to the what's the word? They don't go to the retail
like
versions of what they need to get. They don't do the dispensary. They don't do, that's the thing. We don't know. I don't know anyone personally that does medicinal marijuana where they have to go to dispensaries. I don't know anybody personally that goes through that. So I'm real ignorant to that process as far as that is. But like I said, even with that, there's still people that still insist on going to their plug.
Right.
Yeah, and even if you've been to that plug a bajillion times, there could be that one time where the plug actually got a bad batch from somewhere else
and doesn't know that they do because they don't do their supply.
Yeah,
right.
So there's risk, there's rewards. It's really about making the decision
Right.
for yourself.
Absolutely.
And like weighing all of the pros and cons, talking with whatever partner you're going to be doing this with, and just being open about it. Like, hey, this is something I want to try.
Very true.
Yeah. And I'm sure your friend or the couple that you know who was home rolling.
When you on Molly, you rolling.
Oh, you rolling. That was obviously consensual, and they knew what they were doing. Because I was like, for 4 days, like, what? Can you? Oh my gosh!
Sound like a good time.
Well, just the fact that you put yourself,
like it was a good time.
Well, just the fact that you literally sequester yourself for 4 whole days, don't go nowhere. I mean, outside of, I'm literally asking questions when they come out of it, and I'm just like, okay, so did y'all go get something to eat or anything? Like, what did y'all stack up? Did y'all stack at the house and just, what? I don't know. Like, I got questions. So it just, so by the time we got done with that conversation, I was like, you know what, y'all are definitely advanced for me. So I'm gonna let y'all have that. And that's a wrap. I'm good, because no, I don't. Especially being parents. I mean, yes, our kids are over 18. Both of our kids are over 18, but I can't see being gone outside of just telling them that we're on vacation.
Right.
And even with us being on vacation, they still got some kind of attachment to us.
Right.
In some form or fashion, in case something goes up. But being like gone, and like as soon as you come up for air, it's like, okay, it's Monday, and like the last 4 days are gone, and don't know nothing about nothing, and I just don't know. I ain't been in that life yet. I don't know about that life right now.
It's so funny because when you were asking these questions, that's what came to my mind. Like, so did you get food delivered? Did you stack food? Did you go?
I promise you, they literally said they did not have any visitors. They were just, it was just them in the house the whole time, and it was pre-planned. And I'm like, okay, so what were the pre-plans? I need help.
Yeah. What did that look like?
So that's what it looked like. It was literally them like going on a whole shopping binge, going to the liquor store, going to the grocery store, and that was it.
So, but I like the fact that it was pre-planned.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were just saying. Like having a plan in place.
Yeah.
Pre-planning, make sure you got what you need. Make sure you have enough water. Maybe there's emergency numbers listed on the door or something.
Right, all of that.
Yeah, all of that. Pre-planning so that way you can have the high and be safe as possible. There's always going to be a level of risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
They made it through 4 days.
Listen, 2 days? Okay, 4. My concern would be food. I'd be like, I need to know. I like to eat.
I mean, if you burning that amount of calorie over the course of the weekend, you need to do something.
Yeah,
I need to know.
Because that is almost a work week. Yes.
Damn near close.
Like, I need food. Where the food at?
Right.
Spending all this energy having sex with you, and you ain't got no food for me.
Yeah, that's a no.
Right? You're like, that's almost like fasting. We fasting.
Oh my God. Oh no, that's no fun.
Dehydrated.
All right. Well, this has been a great conversation. I'm trying to like shut it down. I feel like we've talked about, is there any drug? I mean, I'm sure there's harder drugs that we have not touched on.
Obviously, for between me, you, and the Wild Tappers, I'd rather not discuss those. So it just is what it is.
It's fine. I think we covered a good amount.
Yeah, we got a good chunk. Yeah, we got a good chunk for public consumption, I believe. So there's no need to delve any deeper or anything along those. No, that's all right.
As I told you, I was like, "Oh, this." When I was researching, this is getting really dark. It's so dark for me.
Right.
On the surface. And I think that's where we all stayed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Shakir.
As always, it's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Please tell folks where they can find you.
All your deets.
Yes, just the details.
Everything is at home at shakirashancom. You can find all my social media at the top of the page. Everything else that you need as far as how to get in touch with me, all of those things. Everything's at home.
What's the latest and greatest going on with you? Did we talk about that?
Oh, actually, yeah. Now that we think about it,
I just pulled that out the hat. I'm just like, oh, it's the latest.
I'm good with it too. It ain't no bothering me. I've recently did a 3-book deal with one of the major houses.
Really?
In New York, yes. I've actually signed that deal back in April. Yeah, April. So the first book in that series, I'm actually jumping into the YA world, young adult.
Okay, so I was like, YA.
Yeah. Readers know what that is, but still, it's the young adult. But yeah, the young adult. Basically, it's a young adult paranormal fantasy that I'm conjuring up with a couple of my with a couple of my editors and that type of thing as far as the publishing house is concerned. I don't have all of the details yet because we've been kind of literally in the behind the scenes madness. As far as that is, I can tell you that there are movie adaptations on the table with regard to this particular series. So I'm happy about that. We'll see what happens as we get, because I literally turned in the manuscript about 2 months ago, and we've been in heavy edits ever since, trying to make sure that we get it fleshed out the way that we feel is necessary. Once we get that done, then we can kind of go ahead and get it over to the film agent and let them do their thing. And then from there, it's just packaging and prepping at this point. The book's not out until October of next year, so we've got plenty of time between now and then to kind of get all of the I's dotted and T's crossed in terms of what is coming down the pipeline. I can tell you that the deals are on the table, just can't tell you who.
Yeah, that's
well.
fine.
If you get Kendrick,
Samson
or
Michael B.
Robin wants to star in that.
I can act. I'm a good actress.
I got no issues. I literally have no issues at this particular point. I even told him, I said, if y'all get this deal together, I need to be an extra, period. Like I don't even need no real role or nothing like that. Like, no.
He always do cameos in his own movies. Like,
are you talking about the Marvel Universe and stuff?
Yeah, Stan Lee.
Stan Lee did.
Oh, Stan Lee, but
Stan Lee. Yeah, Stan Lee was literally in before his passing. Yeah, before his passing, he was in every movie of Phase 1. All 22 of them.
That's what you need. And just walk.
Yeah, all 22 of them. He was like, I just do a cameo. We good. I ain't got no pressure, none whatsoever. I'm like, I'm good, because at the very least, it'll put me on set. I get to see everything as it plays out, and that type of thing, and I'm good.
Yeah, I'll be extra on set too. Black girl
one.
Black girl one.
All good either way.
Be a bartender. Like, and I just say something like, "Girl, don't do that."
Oh no, that's not even cool.
So in the YA world, is it still an erotica?
No, it is not. It's not clean, but it's not. I can't really do a lot in that regard. I mean, the kids start out at right at that 17, 18 cusp. So I kind of can play around with it in some instances, but I can't be me, if that makes sense.
Okay, because I see some PG-13. I'm like, is that PG-13?
Yeah, but
no, they get the young adult world as far as movies and streaming services and that type of thing. They've really come a long way from what they used to be as far as that was. And I think, if I remember correctly, I don't know if you remember the movie The Fifth Wave. From like maybe 10 plus years ago, give or take. That was actually the very first movie where you actually got a chance to see a compromised position between teenagers. And then it just everything kind of broke the dam from there. Yeah. So it's not like necessarily that you're really kind of putting them in some, real sexualized positions in a lot of instances, but at the same time, you do put them in very mature adult situations.
Yeah.
And that's really what they're giving me. They're giving me some creative license for.
Yeah, because I can't remember the name of the thing. It was on Netflix and it was PG-13. It was either PG-13 or 14, whatever. And this girl was a virgin and she just didn't want to be a virgin. And so that was like her plight through the whole thing. I said, I can't believe this is going on. What's going on? What
Yep.
is going on here?
That's a lot.
Yeah, it has really changed. So good for you. I know your wheelhouse is more erotica.
Yeah, my wheelhouse is where is always deeply entrenched in that, but you know, that's really what that is. I know I'm part of I'll be part of a series toward the end of the year. Actually it's two. It's one is an anthology and the other is the other one is like a 9-book series that that I'm a part of at this point. That one is the 9-book series is called The Queens of the Castle. It's actually a takeoff from 2 other series that we had. One was called The Kings of the Castle. The other one was called The Knights of the Castle. So now we're running into The Queens of the Castle now. And it's literally just different women in different parts of the world that have literally just different situations that they have to kind of find themselves in and out of for the most part. But they're very in a lot of instances, they're very sexually empowered. They're very empowered just from an overall base, and just from what I've already read from the other ladies, I'm absolutely stoked about that one.
Oh, great,
Okay.
great. Maybe there'll be some sex enhancing drugs in there.
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
I'm just
I ain't read them all yet, so I can't answer that question.
okay.
Wow. Well, nice stuff happening.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's definitely an exciting time at this point. My publishers at Macmillan are absolutely thrilled at this point because the way that the young adult world has been, a lot of the stories have always centered around the girls, and that's its own wonderful thing. I have not had a problem with it, but they've had pretty much about a 10 to 15 year run where it's just nothing. It's been nothing but women and nothing but young women and that type of thing. And there's not very much out there that surrounds young boys. So that's where I come in. Somebody found it. They said, okay, we ain't seen this in a minute. We need to run with it. And yeah, my publisher got a call. She called me and I'm just like, okay, so now we got to accelerate the schedule and I ain't even ready, but we just going to have to go on and make it do what it do.
Listen, that's how you know you're walking in your purpose.
That's right.
When things come for you and
That's
you feel
right.
like you're not ready, but the universe is like, oh no, we pushing you because it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
time.
And this is definitely an example of that.
Good for you. Congratulations. You deserve every bit of it.
Excited for you.
Many
Yes,
blessings.
indeed.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. That was a good question. I'm glad you asked. Oh man. Okay. It has been our full time. So we are going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Shakir.
thank you
It
again.
has definitely been a pleasure.
Don't go anywhere. We're just going to close out the show and
Yeah, absolutely.
you stay there. All right, folks. It has been a pleasure. Again,
Yes.
Tonight's topic was sex and drugs.
If you didn't know.
If you didn't know, and our lovely guest Shakir was amazing
Always.
as always. And you have been watching Sex Talk with Sexual Enigma.
Yes.
Again, I'm Robin
And Tamara.
and Tamara, and we will see you next time
Next time on Sex Talk.
on Sex Talk.
Close out. Mary Jane.
I love you just the same, Mary Jane. Kendrick, don't forget to hit me up.
Please hit her up.
Deuces.
Please.